Good morning, dear students. Welcome back to your another session of your online classes. Children, I am teaching you lesson number 6 and which is little bit a lengthy lesson, children. And right now, today I'll be taking the 8th part of the lesson. Children, we are studying about the animal tissues. Before this, I've already taught you about the plant tissues. Now we are studying about the animal tissues. And children, I told you that animal tissues can be very broadly divided into 4 types based on their structure and function. First is the epithelial, connective, muscle tissue and the nervous tissue. In my previous classes, children, I have already covered about the epithelial tissue and the nervous tissue. Now, today I am going to take about the connective tissue. What are connective tissue? Look at the picture, children, and can you see that it is a diagram of a nerve cell and you can see so many connections are there, right? So let us study about the connective tissue. What are connective tissue? Connective tissues are basically the tissue that connects, support, bind or separate other tissue or organ, typically having relatively few cells that are embedded in a matrix. Okay. Uh, Now, what is meant by matrix? What is meant by matrix? Let me tell you. So, children, connective tissue. Basically, we can say that these are the tissue that help to connect. They support. They bind. Now, what is this binding means? Children, if somebody pinches your skin, है ना? So, or somebody tries to pinch you outside towards in the outer side direction, does your skin come in the hand of that particular person? No. So our skin is very nicely stitched with the other part of our body. Okay. So binding or separates other tissue or organ and typically having relatively few cells. Okay, connective tissue, they are not in present in large amount, children. They are comparatively less in number and they are embedded in a matrix. Now what is meant by matrix? Now children, in my lesson number 2 I taught you about the solutions, solute and the solvent. Now, solvent is the larger part of the solution in which solute is mixed. So, same way, matrix, you can say it is a background material in which different cells are embedded or they are hanging. Again, coming to a very simple language, your mother must be preparing children jam or jelly, or she must be preparing different type of foods for you. So, children, when if you have eaten jelly, so you will find that in a jelly, if she puts some fruits also before it is set, and once it is set, children, and you take it out from the fridge, or if you are fond of eating cake or ice cream, you will find that dry fruits are embedded. Same way, here the cells are embedded in a matrix. Now, what is meant by this matrix? Again, easy to understand. You remember, children, cell, cytoplasm, nucleus, nucleoplasm. Okay, so cytoplasm is a jelly-like substance which is present in the cell. So, same way, matrix is also a jelly-like substance. Usually, it's a jelly-like substance in which different connective tissues are embedded. Let us understand what are the some of the characteristics of connective tissue. They are supporting tissue and they are made up of varieties of cell, children. They can be made up of fiber. है The matrix can be sometimes solid, it can be semi-solid. Okay. Now connective tissue ranges from vascular to ranges from avascular to highly vascular. Now vascular word means blood connectivity. So children, there are some part of your body in which blood is absent. Okay, not your hair, not your nails. They are the part of your epithelial tissue. Children, your bone, your cartilage, they are the type of connective tissue which are avascular. Means blood vessels are absent here. Okay, they are composed mainly of non-living extracellular matrix that separates the cell of this tissue. So the matrix, the jelly-like substance, most of the time it is non-living and it is made up of different sorts of calcium and potassium. It is present in between different tissues, different organs. It can be found in and around the body organs. For example, children, your eyes. They are actually spherical in shape. But when we look from outside, it looks so different. So there is some empty space between your eyelids and the eye. So there that empty space is there. So it is filled there. Okay. Now, what are the functions of connective tissue? Let us understand. It has to bind various type of tissue. Just now I told you that your skin is nicely, जैसे कि कपड़े के हम अलग अलग टुकड़े सिलकर we make one particular cloth. For example, the t-shirt that you are wearing right now, it is made up of different parts of the cloth which are stitched very nicely. Same way, children, our skin is very nicely stitched with our muscles and muscles with our bones. It forms intercellular substance between the cell and different type of tissue, and so that there is frictionless movement of our body organ. Children, there are total 206 bones that are present in your body. Okay. Now, right now what you can do is you take any of your hand. If you are righty or lefty, so take any of your hand and मुट्ठी बनाइए and खोलिए, or make the fist, close it and again open it. Okay. Now children, when you are moving this 5 fingers, just 5 fingers, there are more than 15 to 20 joints that are present only in this much part of your hand. Can you hear movement of any of the bones? No, it's not possible. So this connective tissue, they provide lubrication so that they can move easily without any friction. Okay, it forms a sheet of cells around the body organ and form a packaging tissue. This I told you just now. Our eyes and our eyelids. है ना? Same way, children. Look at your hands again. है ना? They are so beautiful. You have you have got so beautiful hands and toes. You have got such a beautiful face. है ना? But actually, behind this face and your foot and leg, there are arrangement of different bones. Now these bones are very nicely covered with some packing tissues, and you have got a beautiful body that God has gifted us. Areolar tissue, children, they protect our body against any wound or infection. Adipose tissue, it stores the fat and help in the insulation of our body against the heat loss. Suppurative tissue forms the shape and give framework to our body. Some tissue produce blood, and the lymphatic tissue helps in protecting our body from different type of disease. Now children, areolar tissue, adipose tissue, okay, all these tissues I'll be taking later on in detail. That is why I did not explain you much about them. Now let us understand what are the different type of connective tissue. Now this is little bit tough. Okay, children, the connective tissues can be very broadly put into three types. First is the proper connective tissue, second is the supportive connective tissue, and third is the fluid or liquid connective tissue. Okay. Now the proper connective tissue, again it is of two types. First is loose connective tissue and second is dense connective tissue. Loose connective tissue, again children, it's of three types: areolar tissue, adipose tissue and reticular tissue. Dense tissues, children, they are again of two types: tendons and ligaments. Supportive connective tissue, which supports our body, so they are mainly of two types: cartilage and the bone. And the fluid connective tissue are two: blood and the lymph. Now children, all these different type of connective tissue, they have got their different name based on the matrix. You will remember, children, it is a basement, like और बहुत सिंपल वर्ड में आपको समझाऊँ मैट्रिक्स का मतलब ऑयल पेंट they will dissolve only in the oil. Watercolor, they will dissolve only in the water, right? So that medium है ना, like oil paints will dissolve only in the oil, or we use turpentine oil. Nail polish remover is also a type of medium. So matrix is nothing but a medium in which different type of connective tissue floats. It is little bit new concept for you children, but go through this presentation again and again, and you will understand. Now children, you will be surprised to know that all these things are given in your book, but they are given just in 6 to 7 lines. Now, I cannot explain you just in 6 to 7 lines. That is why it has taken me so much time. So children, this was all about the today's presentation of connective tissue. Now from tomorrow onwards, I'll be taking each type of connective tissue individually, and it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, thank you and take care of yourself. This is the flowchart.